Hey guys, Carlos here with Bearwood Traders, and here's my recap for today. So today was a very interesting day. We had a lot of chop in our watch list. So here's the watch list we have. So make sure you tune in tomorrow 8:30 Eastern time for the pre-market show, and we'll go over how these stocks traded. So here's my trading today. We had a MPC. I was watching this one, had a nice range here, pretty wide. So you have to be careful with the number of shares you took. And then you can see here we get a beautiful pullback towards the VWAP and this moving averages. So when I saw that, I hesitated to get in here. I kind of waited for a pullback to get closer to the VWAP. We did get that pullback right on here. This is when I went short and waited to see if we were going to break the low of the day at this time, sitting around 58.01 or so, 58.05. It did drop down a bit, didn't quite break the low of the day, but then you can see here it starts heading back up, and for some reason I get out of this trade. I completely jumped the gun here and jumped out of this trade for break even, and not sticking to my stop, which was VWAP. So at that time I reassessed. I'm like, there's no reason for me to get out of this. This was poor trade management here. The trade ended up not working out, but at the end of the day, I should be sticking to my trade management plan, which is here's my stop, and this is where I should be staying in on the trade, unless something signifies anything otherwise, that I should completely get out of the trade. So I jumped back in to the trade close to where my original entry was. It did chop around for a while. Look at the 5 minute here. It just became very, very choppy for a couple of minutes. Didn't know if we wanted to sell down or what to do here. Eventually, it does hit my stop, 58.66. I am out of that trade. Now here on once it went above VWAP, I waited for a pullback. It looked like it was going to go long here and squeeze towards the high of the day. So I waited for a pullback on the next couple of minutes. It did pull back down towards VWAP, but I got in way too early. A better entry would have been waiting for this 5 minute candle to close here. So I did go long here for a squeeze towards the top. I waited for the retest, so this thing came up, comes back down and retests the VWAP. As you guys know, that's a strategy that we like to look for, that type of setup, and then shoots right back up. So it didn't do that there. It did sell off, and then once it made a new 5 minute low, which is right here, I got stopped out for this trade over here. So again, a better execution of this trade would have been to wait for this 5 minute candle to close. A better entry would have been maybe down here for have to get a better risk to reward. An entry around this area would have gave me a stop around probably the low of the day. We probably can hold towards that level, and we would have survived this pullback here and taken advantage of this move. Also, when this move happened, we're looking at the stock live in the chat room with the rest of the members. We got a nice pullback here towards the VWAP. But again, it got too extended. We're waiting for another indication to get a better entry, good risk to reward off the VWAP, and then it's just shot up nicely, squeezing above the previous level of resistance and all the way towards the high of the day. But unfortunately, I missed that stop there. I missed that entry. There were some members that did take this entry here, so that turned out to be a pretty nice stock. So after this trade, I looked around to see what else we had, and guys, it was so choppy. There was not much else that looked clean. Again, Nike was just pure chop today. Look at this 5 minute candle now. Roku as well. Look how choppy this was. You got a nice little drop here, engulfing crack, but again, overall, it's just extremely choppy. And the ATR on Roku is again extremely high, so you got to be careful with the numbers of shares you take. And also, the SPY was very active, sold up and then sold down pretty nasty. So that was also something that didn't help a lot of these stocks that probably want to head higher. PM was my next trade. So after sitting out for a little bit, just kind of waiting to see what other setups we get. PM here broke out of the VWAP, came back and retested it, but in waiting for this 5 minute candle to close, we didn't get a good signal this thing wanted to head higher, so we didn't take that trade there. So I didn't jump in long for a continuation of this uptrend that it has been since the morning, since 9:45. Then here again, it bounces back from this level where you have some prior resistance right around here where the price is at now, actually 76. On the way back up, once it closes above VWAP, I got in for a long here, expecting for a possible squeeze now and to establish a trend above the VWAP. The minute we got in, it did stall for a little bit, couldn't get towards the previous high that it was of this candle here, and then it sold back down below VWAP. I stopped out around a couple of cents below, didn't give us enough room, and also during this time of the day, you want to take less shares because things can be very choppy, especially on a day like today where the market is just chopping around quite a bit. From there, it sold down and then came back up. Again, just became choppy, not really any other entries or any good indications to take a trade. Here's the SPY today, guys. Huge drop here. Again, now right back up, and at the moment, it's just chopping around. So calling it a day very early. I don't see anything that looks great at the moment. Not saying that there cannot be some opportunities, but on a day like today, you want to take these small red days. Small red days are important. You don't want to force anything and make this bigger than what it is and start hitting max loss on a day that opportunities are not showing up. So three red trades for me, three small red trades. We'll call it a day there, and then we'll come back tomorrow and see what the market has to offer. Make sure you comment and like, guys. Leave me down any questions that you would like me to get back to you on. I respond to every comment, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time. Take care.